Hello everyone, my name is Genesis Moradell, and today I will be identifying and describing the structures of the brain that are closely involved in movement and their specific functions. So the first part of the brain that we're going to be looking at is the cerebrum, and the cerebrum is covered by the cerebral cortex, which is divided into left and right hemispheres. And within these hemispheres, we have the frontal lobe, the temporal lobe, the parietal lobe, and the occipital lobe. The frontal lobe is the primary controller of voluntary movement. The parietal lobe is vital for perception and integration of sensory information. The temporal lobe is in charge of our memory, our abstract thoughts, and our judgment. And the occipital lobe is in charge of visual perception. We also have the primary cortex and the premotor cortex located in the frontal lobe. And the first one is involved for movement initiation and coordination of fine motor skills, which again uses small muscles. And the second one organizes before and after movements and rhythmic coordination, which is also transitions between movements. Lastly, there's the basal ganglia, which is involved in the planning and start of a movement and controls the force exerted by the muscles and also controls the antagonist muscle. Next, we have the cerebellum, and similar to the cerebrum, it is also covered by a cortex known as the cerebellar cortex. Underneath this cortex, there's red and ocular motor nuclei. Sensory neural pathways are sent to the cerebellum via the spinal cord, cerebellar cortex, and the brainstem, whereas motor neural pathways are sent via the spinal cord, which uses the red nuclei and descending reticular formation. The cerebellum is mostly in charge of smooth and accurate movement, so any damage that would be done to this would lead to clumsiness and messy movements, which would look like stumbling or falling. It is also given information by the motor cortex, which aids in movement error and correction systems. Lastly, we have the brainstem, and this is divided into three parts. The first is at the very top, which is the pons, which is in charge of balance. Next, we have the medulla oblongata at the bottom, which is also known as the extension of the spinal cord. And lastly, we have reticular formation. And reticular formation uses information to influence the central nervous system in order to alter a movement to meet its intended goal. And this is done through sensory and motor neural impulses.